Megan Fenyo presents I Am Enough TV. Be your best self. Awaken the power within you. Transform your life completely through the power of ultimately believing you are enough. Hey everyone, welcome to I Am Enough TV. I am your host, Megan Fenyo. Thank you so much for joining in with us today. And I am so excited to have this amazing, beautiful, bombshell woman, Michelle Jewsbury, join us on the show today. She is a global breakthrough specialist and founder of Unsilenced Voices. And I had the pleasure of meeting Michelle, oh my goodness. I think we met on like social media first, and then we met like in person.
Kiss the monkeys, kiss the mermaids.
Kiss the mermaids, and then also again at City Summit and Gala. Mm-hmm. So I am totally inspired by you and your story and everything you've got going on in this world. But before we jump into the good stuff, will you share what it means for you to be enough?
What it means for me to be enough. It means that I have self-worth. It means that I know that I can conquer things that I've dealt with. I know that I can overcome my obstacles and really create an amazing life because I am enough, because I don't need anybody else to have to do that for me.
So simple and so profound and powerful, because you are, girl, you are so much enough. So share with us, on the show, we like to get a little raw and real and kind of share your stories of how you moved from your struggle into your strength. I know your story, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so inspired by you, but share with us a little bit about your journey.
Great. So I will start from, I guess, the beginning and fast forward along the way, because I know we don't have too much time, Megan. Yeah. First off, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. Excited to share. So I was born in Sandpoint, Idaho, to two loving parents. I loved my mom and my dad dearly. I miss them so terribly much right now. Yeah. But we moved around a lot. And when I was 7, I was separated from my parents for like 4 months, had no idea why. So when I was young, and when you're separated at that age and you don't understand why, it causes anxiety and abandonment issues. So growing up, I thought that I was fine, except I was attracted to men. Right. I always reached out to Prince Charmings to, sweep me off my feet and to take care of me. And I always stayed too long in relationships, always, my whole life. Yeah. Well, fast forward now to me moving to Hollywood to pursue an acting career, because that was my passion for so long. I ended up meeting this blonde-haired, blue-eyed, sexy man, right, who swept me off my feet, and he pursued me, and he bought me flowers and sent me gifts, and we went out on romantic dates and to ball games. He's the one who got me into the LA Dodgers. I love the Dodgers. So I thought this was my fairy tale prince. Yep. And 4 months into our relationship, my head went through the drywall, and wow. I didn't realize that was the beginning of a domestic violence relationship. Mm-hmm. And I ended up staying with him for roughly 4 years. And in those 4 years, there was a lot of emotional abuse, physical battery. I was beat twice for over 4 hours at a time, financial abuse and sexual abuse. And when I finally escaped that relationship, I had a lot of PTSD issues. I was a survivor, but still a victim, and victim mentality. And didn't really comprehend or understand what I was going through. So then I started documenting what happened to me. And when I documented it, it actually came out in a play format first. So I wrote and performed a 65-minute solo play, debuted at the Whitefire Solo Fest in February of 2016, and then again later in the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And, after I had performed that on stage, and, the rehearsal process for that was crazy. I beat myself up every single day,
Mm-hmm.
having to rehearse those lines that Paul would say to me, the actions that he would do to me. But people would come up to me and they were so ecstatic that I spoke up, that I was able to share my story. And they're like, me too. I did that as well. I've been through this. Thank you so much. At that point, I was like, I gotta do more. So in 2017, I started a nonprofit organization called Unsilenced Voices, right there.
Yay.
We help survivors of domestic violence and sexual abuse worldwide. So we're in Ghana and Sierra Leone, Africa. I literally just got back a couple of days ago from there, even amidst this pandemic happening. And
Yes.
yes, right.
We have to do a disclaimer, because by the time this episode airs, it's probably going to be a month or two after. So it's going to be very interesting to see where the world is going to be when this episode comes out, because literally right now it is like
lockdown.
It's lockdown. I am like fourth day in lockdown, and you just got back. So we were talking about that. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see where the world is at now when this episode airs. But yes, we are currently on lockdown.
Yeah. And, I real briefly, I want to jump to another subject. And I really hope that, being on lockdown really makes people realize that the go, 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 go mentality is not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to enjoy the journey. We're supposed to take it one step at a time. And I think that this is forcing us to really join and collaborate with human beings worldwide, not just the US or not just Europe or not just different countries, but we're a global humanity. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we'll jump back in.
Yeah. Because that's a whole nother topic. And I'm
so glad that you said that. Topic.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so we help internationally, and we are also expanding to the US. So we're going to be doing our first event. Now it's going to be July or August. It was in May, but of course the pandemic, we're postponing it. So I'm super excited. I mean, we need a lot of help. We need grant writers. We need fundraisers. We need actual financial donors. We have girls that we sponsor in a school. I currently do not take any money from the organization at all, and I've put well over $40,000 of my own money into it. But it's a mission. It's a lifelong mission. And then I published my first book called But I Love Him, which is the same title as my play, in February of 2019. And I'd love to give your audience a complimentary digital download of the intro of that, if that's all right with you, Megan.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So those of you who are watching either on Roku or Apple TV or Amazon Fire TV or on EasyWayTV.com, check out her book. What is the website for that?
Yeah, so it's actually it's a text. So all you got to do is text obstacles to 26786. Again, it's obstacles to 26786, and you'll receive a complimentary digital download of the intro and then a place to purchase on Amazon.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
So many questions. I just, I've heard your story a couple of times, and it's so profound. And one of the things that sticks out for me is, how you said, I stayed for 4 years because I didn't really know what was going on. I'm a mental health therapist, and I stayed for 6 years. What was the turning point for you that allowed you to finally walk away? What happened?
So, as you know, because you yourself, you're a survivor, right?
Yes.
And many of your listeners are survivors, and there's a cycle in domestic violence, going from walking on eggshells to a big blow up to the apology stage, which keeps most victims trapped in that abusive relationship. And in order to break free from that cycle, you need a breaking point. And my breaking point, I actually had two. The first one was when I found out he was having affairs on me. He cheated on me, and I found out, and for some reason, psychologically, I was okay with him physically battering me and emotionally abusing me, financially controlling my life. But when I found out he cheated on me, that was like the epitome of the worst thing he could possibly do. And that was the beginning of my actual leave from him, my escape from Paul. And so I ended up moving back to Los Angeles, and he was still financially in control of my life, and still we were emotionally connected and financially connected. In November of 2015, I received a message from a gal that he was dating, and her head just went through the glass window in our old bathroom. And she said that she was going to move forward and press charges against him. And that was when I had to make a decision, allow him to continually financially abusing me and emotionally manipulating me, or, not care about my credit and take a breath and take that next step forward and reclaim my life back. And as you can see, that's what I did. I reclaimed my life back and moved forward with helping her and getting out of that situation and unwinding myself.
It's so amazing because I think our stories are so similar, but so different. Just those last moments, my ex-husband had an affair as well. But I still stayed with him, and it was just kind of, I had lost every sense of who I was and lost my 6-figure income and had to file for bankruptcy and all of that stuff. But I'll never forget that turning point, just like you won't either, that profound moment where you're like, okay, enough is enough. What did it take for you to, because I'm sure when you walked away, you kind of felt like you weren't enough and kind of holding your hands, your life pretty much in the palm of your hands, basically. What were the things that you did to get to start this new life and to start creating this new vision that you had? Was there something, did you go to therapy? Was there certain skills or things that you did to kind of help you stay focused on what you wanted to do in life and not stay stuck in the past?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because a lot of people do, and a lot of people don't realize that recovery takes time.
Yes.
And once you've understood what it is that you've gone through, you then have to accept it and then change your entire perspective and mindset around it. And when I left, I was heartbroken. I loved him so much, and it was so hard for me to stay away from him. And the chemical oxytocin was very much alive in my brain, which wanted me to, continually contact him and try to help him. And, I stood my ground. And the first thing I did besides writing that play was enrolling myself back in therapy, where I have an amazing therapist, Dr. Douglas Gosney. So if anybody needs any help, he is phenomenal. He's in the Los Angeles area. And he really helped to coach me back to my strong self, because I was strong and independent, and I knew I was worthy before getting into that relationship with Paul. But of course, after I left, I was a little broken. So I did a ton of therapy. I did a ton of writing work. So I'm a huge advocate on writing therapy, where you write things down, whether it be stream of conscious or whether it be complete sentences, book format, theater format, movement, whatever it is. But that was how I healed. And because I did that, and because I did that so intense right from the get-go, I was able to heal quicker than many other people that I've spoken to.
I agree with that, because I started writing my book literally after I walked away from my ex-husband, and never thought it was going to be a book, but that was kind of and I always look at that, it was my saving grace. And I never was a writer before that, but you have to, and I'm a mental health therapist, and talking so much about, and I'm so glad that you said that about going to therapy and finding that one tool that's going to help you, because it's not just jumping in into your work and all of that stuff. It's finding that one tool. For you, it was writing. For me, it was writing, and it was also visual coping skills. But it's important for those of you who are listening that are really struggling with something in your life traumatically, or maybe you're just feeling stuck, that you find that one coping skill that's going to help you move forward, either one or multiple coping skills.
I totally agree with you. And, now I have a team around me, and we've put together a whole package, a breakthrough masterclass, where we talk about coping skills and coping mechanisms and your blind spots, and being able to recognize all of these things that you may not know is causing a problem in your life
Yeah.
and inhibiting you to move forward. So yeah, it is. It's so important and so profound to discover those things after
Mhm.
trauma. And stress is trauma.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Mental health conditions. 50% of entrepreneurs deal with a mental health condition. So how do we help them, right? It's the same
Mhm.
type of strategies and tactics to overcome.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like to say you have anxiety or depression or
Hmm.
negative self-talk, because every single one of us struggles with it, right?
Yep.
Whether it be in our health, career, relationships, what have you, we've all struggled with negative thinking. We've all struggled with some type of anxiety and depression. And especially now, like literally with when we don't know what's going to happen in the world, especially going on with all of the corona craziness and everything, it's a very difficult time. And I'm really proud of the people that have reached out to me as entrepreneurs and even as people who've never had therapy before and said, hey, I'm really just like feeling anxious and I'm not
Hmm.
sleeping and this and that. And I'm like, let's have a conversation. It's not therapy. There's nothing wrong with you, but it's important. And that is something that you have to pay attention to is what is your body telling you, because we always feel it physically before we feel it emotionally,
Hmm.
especially like the anxiety and stuff. So I love that you have put all of these things together to help people, because it's truly something that literally, if you do not get help and support with, it will keep you stuck forever. It
Yeah,
literally will. It
it
literally
will.
will.
Yeah, well, there's something called adverse childhood experiences,
Hmm.
where this as a professional in this space. But to your audience, if you go through something as a child or a young adult that's very traumatic, and
Hmm.
you don't deal with it, whether it be speaking up vocally, writing, movement, whatever that may be, if you keep it in your body and you think you're fine, it will actually come out in physical and or emotional ailments when you get older. Autoimmune disorders, chronic anxiety, chronic pain, headaches, you name it. So you have to be able to cope with what
Yes.
you've gone through and speak up. That's why we called the nonprofit Unsilenced Voices, because if we unsilence our voices, and if more people do so, then more people will be healed, and then we
Hmm.
can create sustainable change worldwide.
I love that. And I so love that you said chronic pain. That's one of kind of like my soapbox like words, because I work with a lot of patients with chronic pain and I do myself have chronic pain. And it's so true. The more stress, the more anxiety, the more emotional pain you have, the more physical pain you have.
Yep.
And I love that you just said that, because when we're feeling tired or exhausted or irritated or whatever, we really have to look at what's going on in our head, what we're saying to ourselves, and then surrounding, like what's in our immediate environment that's causing all of these things. So I love it,
Exactly.
girl. You're amazing.
Exactly. So are
Amazing,
you,
amazing.
Megan. So are
Yeah,
you.
thank you. So we have a couple minutes left. What is one piece of advice or something that you would share with women and men who may be feeling stuck in a relationship where it's not healthy, where it's toxic, whether it
Mm.
just be narcissistic abuse, whether it be verbal, emotional, what is one piece of advice or tip that you can share with those people that might be watching right now?
So I'm going to actually share two.
Okay.
The first one is, don't stay stuck in your circumstance. So you are not defined by what you're going through. And you need to understand that it's not your fault. It doesn't define you. And it's okay to reach out for help. On the second level, I actually was interviewed earlier today about this as well, that the abuser is not going to change unless they actually do the hard
Mm,
work. Okay.
amen.
So hurt people. And that's why this is so
Mm,
cyclical and has been repetitive throughout the beginning of time. So if your abuser says, oh yeah, I'm fine, I'm never going to do this again, I promise, I love you, but he or she, they don't take extreme measures and actions like therapy, like intense counseling, whatever that looks like, but takes measures into their own hands, it's going to continue. So you have to know, no matter what they say, you need to get yourself out of that situation for your safety, for the safety of your children and everybody else around you.
Oh, such good advice, because it's so true. If they do not get the help, they're not going to change.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more that you can do for them.
Yep.
And that was a huge lesson for me to learn. I knew that in the back of my head, but I refused to admit it, right? I just continued to believe that he was going to change.
Me too.
But anyway, so thank you. Those such great advice. How can people get in contact with you to learn more about Unsilenced Voices, how to get involved, and maybe just to reach out and chat with you?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. So that number again is 26786. So if you want a complimentary consultation up to 15 minutes with me, all you have to do is text the word consultation to 26786. If you want more information about Unsilenced Voices, you can either text Unsilenced Voices to that same number or go to unsilencedvoices.org. And if you want information about my program, and because of the whole epidemic, I'm offering some pretty great incentives right now. It's 35% off. And go to unsilencemyvoice.com and type in the word inspiration, and you will get 35% off the course.
It's amazing. All right, we got 30 seconds left. What is your favorite mantra or affirmation?
Ready?
I am. I'm ready. Go, go.
All right. So it's just keep swimming. I love it.
I love it. And I think I know what it means, but share, what does it mean? Just for people that want to know.
Yeah, just keep going, right? Your circumstances are not going to stop you. So keep putting one foot in front of the other. Just keep swimming. Just keep going. Just keep going, right?
Love it.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, I love you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. And those of you who are watching, please take advantage of Michelle's offers and her coaching and getting involved in her amazing nonprofit, Unsilenced Voices. So I always like to end the show with my favorite quote, which is, "You are enough just as you are in whatever season you're in. And the more you celebrate and focus on that, the more you will live in your strength." I Am Enough TV airs every morning at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Easy Way TV. Or you can catch out all the episodes on Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and also the new app for Apple users by just searching Easy Way Network. Be sure to grab some free resources and order your free I Am Enough cards by heading to IamEnoughMovement.info. Thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, remember, in everything you do, be bold, be brave, be unapologetically you, because you are enough.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.